Good morning, Barry.
Morning.
With your prior approval that I got last week, we are going to take Foundations for Life and make it into a commercial message. That has never been done before, but it's going to be a commercial that I think people will enjoy. The commercial is for the Connect to Israel tour, October 19th through October 31st of 2025. Now, I want you to, and the commercial is really going to be me asking Barry a number of questions. I didn't tell you about that, did I?
No, and I didn't know I was needing to study for an exam.
Okay. Well, we'll maybe in the comments, people at the end can say whether Barry passed or failed. Okay. You've told the story about going to Israel the first time. This was with me back in, was it 2001?
Yeah.
Okay.
2001.
So, almost in the last century, you told the story of seeing a Jewish man on, I think, Ben Yehuda Street, and kind of thinking to yourself how Yeshua's life looked a lot more like his than like yours did in that day. Just as we called the first tour that Barry went on, his pork detox tour. There was still some lingering odors on the breath, but you were in the process of detoxing. Past that, that experience, would you describe? Okay, you had been investigating, becoming a part of this walk, Hebrew roots, Messianic, all of those things, had started teaching more from the Torah, more from a Hebrew basis at Freedom Tabernacle in Gloucester. But how do you think your life would have been had you not gone on that tour? Would you have been able to proceed in the way that you have without that connection to the land and people?
I've actually thought about that question some time back, years ago.
So you did study.
Well, it's a question that brings up a thought that I had. If I had not made this connection, matter of fact, the connection was an answer to prayer for revival.
Yeah.
Freedom Tab had been in the process of years for prayer for revival. Now, we were expecting something similar to the Brownsville outpouring took place in the late 1990s. That was what was in our mind, and we thought that's what we were praying for. But in the sanctuary there, auditorium, I was praying one day, Mike, and I very clearly heard the Father speak to me that I'm going to give to you the revival you've been asking for. But much of your people will be so offended by it, they will reject it. So that was a prayer that was prayed before I ever met you.
Mm-hmm.
The end result of all of that was then the introduction not only to Israel, but to the Torah. And the two are inseparable.
I believe so.
So, sure enough, that's exactly what happened. I left the building and a segment of my congregation, probably a majority of that congregation in the building, and out of that house of David was birthed. And to answer your question, I have realized over the years that if I had not come to the place of Yah answering that prayer for revival as he did, the things that would have been taking place in that denomination and where I would have seen myself reacting to those things, I don't believe I would be in pulpit ministry right now. I would probably be more involved in a secular employment and just frustrated and weeded out because I was burning. we talk about revival and spiritual renewal and the height and the euphoria of meetings and so on. And those things can be exciting, but there is a point where you burn and you realize I am trying to maintain this hyper level and I'm running out of energy and running out of steam. And unless you are in the complete stages of dying to self, that Messiah alone may be glorified, it's unsustainable. We can't do it. And there is a point of revival where the wall is hit, and the wall is not Hasatan, the wall is ourselves, where we say, I have nothing left to give. And Yeshua would be saying to us, you have entire reservoirs of self that we haven't even began to look at yet.
Yeah. You mentioned that your prayer, the answer to your prayer was that you felt he said to you that many would become offended at what you were going to be teaching, and you didn't even know what that teaching was at the time. It reminded me of a statement I have on my phone notes. Israel will reveal man's heart. Jerusalem will sift the nations. How true is that statement in your estimation? This is a softball.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously we're seeing the protests and riots on college campuses over Israel as the people, as the nation. And I just read a news article out of Jerusalem Post this morning where University of Washington students took over a particular building, and then the law enforcement had to go in and get them out. But they were highly offended that Boeing in that area was supporting the university while also making the fighter jets and bombs that Israel would be using. So they were demanding a complete removal of the college from anything received from Boeing, and actually anything they've given you thus far, you need to give it back. Well, that's a big thing for 30 students to demand.
Yeah, but that's expected from people that are secular. What about people that say that they are following the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? How true is that statement regarding them?
It's one thing to sit and listen to replacement theology and a denominational setting. You can almost understand where people would come to that conclusion to some degree. At the same time, out of their mouth, oh, I just love the Jewish people. And it's like,
as long as they're not in the same room with them.
You can't love the Jewish people and hate the land, or demand that the land be taken from them, or else you're so ignorant of Scripture and especially of prophecy that you have no clue what you believe.
Or love the Jewish people, say you love the Jewish people, but hate everything they do and all they stand for.
So, Mike, that is a place where I scratch my head so hard that I wonder if I lose all my hair. I mean, it's nuts. It's absolute. And the only thing, it goes to what Rav Shaul warned Timothy about in the last days, talking about doctrines of demons. It is anti-Semitic, Jewish-hating replacement theology is a demonic lie.
Yeah.
It's demonism. And people will say amen to it and get goosebumps. Hating Jerusalem, there's this enamoring, I don't know how else to say it, an enamoring mindset pertaining to that city. But I think a large part of that is I want to go see the Holy Sepulchre, the Church of the Nativity, and the Catholic version of sites and so forth, and think that it is they're going to hear angels humming in the background, and
Yeah.
it's just not there.
And by the way, we do not have on our tour the Connect to Israel tour will not include a ride in the Pope Mobile, which was just given to Gaza.
The Catholic car.
Yeah. I mean, somebody said, I said, well, maybe they're going to have to refit it. I put this on Facebook. Maybe they're going to have to refit it because it's being sent over under the guise of a medical unit for the children. You hear the Pelosi say the children, and I wondered how long it would take Hamas to refit it with armaments, and then it dawned on me that the Jew hatred will not have to be refit. It's already there. Okay, I need to get off of that. I was going to save this till later, but let me just go ahead and go with it now, and then we'll get to some other things that are more on a positive aspect. This week's horror portion says, toward the end of Vayikra, it says that when you're coming into the land, that if you bring in or accept the paganism of the land you were in, or those that you're trying to drive out, the land will vomit you out. I have been around people for through the years. I'm not trying to judge anybody here, but I'm just a statement, just a thought, that have said, well, I wanted to go, but I had that happen to me just very, very recently. In fact, within the last week. Is it? This is just my thought. This is something I've considered. Is it that they are rejecting the land, or is the land rejected them?
Good question. Had a conversation with someone, an American who had a job in Israel with a particular company. So he went, and they lived in Israel because a company in Israel wanted him to come work there. They quickly had to learn the language. And so when they came out, they were speaking fluent Hebrew, conversational Hebrew. They were very much aware of culture, built relationships, immersed themselves into living in Israel. Not as Americans, but recognizing themselves as, I'm not Jewish and I'm not here living in the land as a Jew, but totally engaged and appreciative of the Jewish people and culture and language. And basically from them learned, if you don't have a job waiting for you when you get there, and if you don't have an ability to converse with them in their language, and if you're not willing to be culturally adaptive, they don't need you to come. Come as a tourist, come visit, enjoy. We'd love to have you, love to see you. You want to come live here? No. As far as those that are going on tours, Mike, and they're there just to see the sights and to buy trinkets and go home, saying, I went to Israel. I think it's more the land tolerates for a bit.
Okay.
There's a willing tolerance, and I've seen this. You and I were in an area, and I remember the long line. There must have been 50 to 100 people in this tour. The man out front had a headset microphone on. Everybody had on matching T-shirts.
We don't do that.
No, you don't. And he's walking through, and he's oblivious to everything behind him. And there's a place there opposite the Kotel, a little hole-in-the-wall pizzeria-style restaurant. And they got two lions there on pedestals. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, up top, yeah.
And he stops and he puts his hand on one of the lions and he makes some kind of spiel about this lion. And he walks on and everybody's walking by. Some of them with their headset in their ears heard what he said and they walk by and they touch the lion and look at it and keep going. Others are chatting and they never heard what he said. They're just walking in a line.
Yeah.
That's
And
not the Connect to Israel tour.
No.
I mean, that's so foreign to what you and Hanok arranged. I sit there and shook my head. They paid how much to come here and to do this, and they're learning what? This is a total waste of time.
Yeah, I was actually co-leading a tour that was 100 people one time. We had 2 buses. I said, never again. I will not take more than about 25 because we don't want to have that. I don't have a microphone. I don't have a headset. You don't have matching shirts. You don't have matching hats. We don't have a flag up in the front, and Hanok is not dressed in a Mickey Mouse suit so that you can keep up with him. This is a very personal tour. So before I say any of that, let me just throw it back to you again, and this will be the self-serving part for me. But you kind of approach this. You've heard people that have gone on Israel tours before. You have been in the land and seen Israel tours. And you've been with me a number of times now. What, in your opinion, makes Connect to Israel different?
2 or 3 things. One is the places that we go are not only biblically significant, but they are historically significant. Now, if you want to go and just hit the highlight reel, well, Yeshua walked here and he may have been there, you can go and see a few things. But the places, when you go to Itamar and you realize the tenacity, the bulldog level tenacity of a community of people who are not only in love with each other and in love with their Elohim, but they're in love with this land. It's not an infatuation. They are totally in love with the land. And they, Moshe and Leah Goldsmith will tell you, you kill us, we'll build more buildings.
Yeah.
We'll have more children.
They destroy, we build.
We're not going anywhere. And it would have been very easy and reasonable for them to pack up and say, this is just too much.
Sure.
I'm still shook by going to Elan Moray and Hebron. I don't know I'll ever recover and don't want to recover from those sites. But as I hinted at there, it's the people. You meet people. You meet community leaders. You meet shopkeepers that grin from ear to ear and drop everything they're doing and holler Mike when you walk through the door. And you realize, okay, we are a part of something that is not average. I dare say that a lot of tour leaders can walk through and say, okay, if you want t-shirts, this is the place. If you want ice cream, it's across the street, and it's all boredom. When Mike Clayton walks in, people pay attention, especially on Ben Yehuda Street, but also in other communities. But it is also Hanok's vast, high-level historical knowledge. It's the awareness of the significance of things easily overlooked. The idea that on this trip that we could go to the Temple Mount and actually lay prostrate on the Temple Mount. Hanok is someone that has been a part of that endeavor to get that reestablished and has participated in that. Hanok is not only knowledgeable, but he's passionate. I mean, when you hear the man talk about, he can give you the facts, he can give you the figures, he can give you the dates, he can tell you the story, but it's also, this is his home. This is who he is. He's a former American who is now overly engrossed in being an Israeli. I still laugh when he says that, you know, how's he put it, Mike? He struggles with to be linguistic in two different languages. I mean, I forget exactly how he phrases
he's rapidly losing fluency in two languages. Yeah, but he does speak the language of passion.
He is very passionate about what he is doing, and he is very integrity. A lot of integrity. He doesn't want any junk information just to woo and wow someone.
Yeah, yeah, and I can understand. I mean, I relate to Hanok in the fact that a lot of people don't like passionate people. They just don't. It's passion bothers them because they've never found anything worth being passionate about, I guess. But I mean, if I'm not going to do something with passion, why in the world should I even put out the effort? That doesn't make any sense to me. And people mistake passion for other emotions because they're not used to seeing it. Hanok, on the other, Hanok is also a person that understands or accepts who we are. He sees us, many of us, as Ephraim, as the prophecy would fulfill, but not everybody that goes does he believe is part of Ephraim. That's a long conversation there, but it's literally the essence of Hanok is a observant Jew, and us as, if we want to call yourself Ephraim or the foreigner that has joined themselves to Hashem. What a name for a ministry that would be. He sees us walking the land with him as prophecy being fulfilled before our eyes.
Yeah. And
before their eyes.
Yeah. And that's another part of it, Mike, is that the people in the land, they recognize a tour a mile away.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, when they see a bus pull up, okay, here comes the tour. But the attitude and the atmosphere that is on the Connect to Israel tour is different. Yes, there's some, people walk around and they're looking at every little thing like, I've never been here before. Wow. They see that. But they also, I think, and when I've been with you, is that they see the hunger. And it has been said more than once, who are these people?
Yeah.
I remember, I forget exactly what site we were at, where we were visiting. It may have been at the site where they have the bakery and the ammunition manufacturing underground.
Oh, Elon, the Elon Institute, which, by the way, is on the schedule this time for Connect Israel tour, normally is not on the schedule.
It's a very, very cool site.
Yeah.
I think we were at the end of that, and Shema time came up. Yeah. I believe that's where we were at. And there were a couple Israelis in our close company. We had engaged in a little bit of a conversation. And
we were downstairs. We were actually in the ammunition. We were downstairs in that. I remember that.
That's what I'm thinking. We were downstairs. And Mike paused the conversation and told them what we're going to do. And they stood there and watched us sing Shema. And they're kind of looking at each other. A couple of them were bored with it immediately and started talking among themselves. And when it was like, they didn't get it. But there were those that were saying, who are these people? Exactly. What's going on? And it was the same thing at the B'nai Yosef conference.
Yeah.
There, and Ariel, and that, we told that story of the rabbi that was speaking.
Yeah.
We interrupted, and it changed the dynamics of the room 180
Oh
degrees.
yeah.
So
I was standing outside the burnt house at 9 a.m. in the morning, and a rabbi, this Orthodox rabbi, comes walking by, and we stopped and turned toward the Temple Mount and started reciting the Shema. He almost walked into that stone pillar that's there. Somebody caught him before he was about to become a Pekingese Jew with a flat nose. There, we do this stuff. We do these things in Israel. So another question. So we have. A person that you know well that is signing up for, I think this is her third. Oh, I hope I get it right so I don't get in trouble. I think this is her third Connect to Israel tour. Is she just crazy, or is there a reason why? Somebody says, "Well, I've been to Israel." Why would a person go back? And why do you think a person would go back again for a Connect Israel tour?
Well, I mean, people go to family reunions every year sometimes.
There you go. All right.
You don't go to grandma's house while she's alive just one time. So, well, I've seen grandma. What else we got? Laura and I put our feet down on the ground in January 2001. And I've said this before, but the ground immediately. Matter of fact, I was weeping before the plane ever landed.
Yeah.
I remember the plane was banking to come in and make its approach. And I looked out, and there was just some barren places of dirt and some scrubby green plants here and there around the airport. And I thought, where do we go? But then the atmosphere hit me, and I began to realize where I was at. Plane lands, I've already got tears in my eyes. I touched the ground with my feet, and the ground almost violently reached up, and you could feel the seizure of being grabbed in your innermost being, almost taking your breath. We go through customs, we process getting on vehicles to drive to where our next location's at. I think we went straight to Netanya, if I'm not mistaken, on that tour.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore. We go straight up to Ariel, the Shah Hashemron.
I remember being in the land, Mike, and we wept right everywhere that we went, and didn't know why we were weeping, but it was on the Golan Heights, and I'm sitting beside a window seat on the bus, and we're in the middle of the Golan somewhere. Green hills at that time of the year, stones everywhere, field after field, beautiful land, and I realized I've been here. Now, I don't know how I can say. All I can say is my DNA had been there. No, I'm not reincarnation and all that stuff, but my DNA, my heart's still out there in the land of the Golan somewhere. And it's more than a fascination. It's more than just a yearning or a desire. Well, I'd love to come and live in the land of Israel. And we say that, metaphorically more than anything else. It's just a novel idea because we're not prepared to make the cost and pay the cost of what it means to live in the land of Israel.
Yeah, it is difficult. So today, but let's go a little bit of logistics. The Connect Israel tour that you have been associated with, how did we treat you? Was it okay as far as accommodations? Was food okay, Barry?
The rooms are clean. You will get a little bit different take on life in that it's Israel is a bit more European and furnishing than American. Any adjustments are very minor. If you need to plug something into the wall, well, you'll need to be prepared for, that kind of outlet and voltage. The food is plentiful. It's good. We still laugh. I thought I would starve to death in 2001 because I knew they didn't have bacon for breakfast. I figured it out. The eggs are good. The fruit is overwhelming. I was sharing this with someone yesterday. Any food that can be grown anywhere in the world can be grown in Israel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing place. And so the produce of the land, the food of the land is good. It's delicious. I remember being on the bus right after we had landed, and Miriam Feinberg. We were discussing some certain things, and I asked two questions. Number one, if we take a cab, how much should we have to pay? What's the expected price that we would pay to go from one location to the other? And number two, can you drink the water? I'm thinking Mexico. And I remember you laughing, and Miriam smiled real big and said, the water is fine. And Mike quipped, the water in Israel is safer and better than anything you'll drink in the United States.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We have bottled water, of course, on the bus, but as far as the hotels and everything,
the accommodations, the menus are fine. You'll enjoy the food. It'll be a few dishes that you've never seen before. Try it. You'll probably like it. For lunch, you will find, plenty to eat. You won't go hungry. Even with all of the walking, and that's another part of it, anyone that goes to Israel on this tour, you need good shoes that are comfortable. Forget style. Go for comfort. No one's asking you to look pretty. You want good, comfortable, stable walking shoes because you will be doing walking. And so that means you probably need to get some exercise before you go. And
please,
that's not walking around in your house. You need to get outdoors and walk.
Yeah.
You'll need a little bit of energy, but the food, even with all the walking, you can probably gain a few pounds.
Yeah, you might.
And there's
I'll
ice
at least
cream
give you
everywhere.
I will give them the opportunity to gain some, because the buffets at the hotels are really, really good. You mentioned the walking. Yes, there is. Let me give just a couple of brief things as far as our itinerary. I'm not there to run somebody in the ground. We do not start at 7 a.m. and end up at 9 p.m. There is plenty of time along the way for rest. There's time to enjoy the land. Yes, we do have a schedule. Yes, we have an itinerary. And I pretty much demand people be on time, or I turn into my drill sergeant mode, just because I don't want to steal time from other people who are trying to connect with the land.
Let me pause you right there, Mike.
Yeah.
If Mike says that we are leaving at 9:30. That doesn't mean that you walk out of your room at 9:30. That means you are on the bus at 9:20.
We need a few minutes for prayer.
Well, I mean, you need to be on the bus and ready to go at 9:30.
Yeah.
Not standing in line. Well, I'll be right there. I'm going to buy this right here. I'll be right there.
Yeah.
You have to think it's not about you. It's about the group.
Yeah.
Hebrew culture is not about the American individual. It is about the community.
Yeah.
And so you're on a tour with other people. Be respectful. Be there early. And be ready to go when you're supposed to be ready to go. And everybody will be happy.
I'm looking to give the complete tour to everyone there, and I don't want to be sitting on the bus waiting for somebody over and over again, because that again is stealing time from them, and we could be somewhere and it's the next point. We give plenty of time. We do not travel on Shabbat. We do not have an Arab bus driver. We do not have an Arab bus. We will not be staying in Arab hotels that are unsafe to walk around in the evening. We will be staying right there in Jerusalem. We do not support the Arab economy in any way that I can help it. I do not take people to the Arab Quarter so that Hanok and I can put a lot of money into our pockets after you buy the lower quality stuff from we where trust them. We trust, I know these people and I trust them. So you're going to get the highest quality for the still a good deal. So we do give plenty of time for what I call retail therapy, or others like to refer to it as I'm blessing Israel.
Yeah.
Shopping. Yeah. Yeah. So we're there to help with everything. All they have to do is go online. I'm not doing a registration form this year. What I'm doing is you go on to connectisrael.org. They send an email to me personally, and I will be giving each person a call so that I can do for some people I know, no big deal. It's just a formality. But for others, I want to be able to do a little bit of an interview. I'm not doing an interrogation, but a bit of an interview, because I don't want to get there and find out, you're not able to do this on the tour, or maybe your theology is farther out. We accept a lot of different people, but I don't want somebody that's going to come in and be a hindrance to the group in any way. So I'm going through that this time, and we do have spots available. So there is a $500 deposit, which will be due in the month of May, I believe, is what I'm planning, and then the rest of it due, and all those terms and conditions are on the internet.
I will say this. If you're going to go to Israel, especially for the first time, this is not just a good tour, it is the tour. This is what you want. You will come away on your flight home. Your mind, your spirit will be vibrating. Your body will be tired, but the rest of you will be vibrating, and you will realize I didn't just have an entertaining set of days in the land. I had a lifetime experience. And you will understand at that point why people go back. There are other beautiful places on the face of the earth. America is full of them. There are countries in Europe, there are places in Europe from my ancestry I'd like to see. I'd like to visit. But Israel, once you've been there, you realize this is not just a vacation spot. It's not a tour spot. It's home. And your spirit will recognize that. Now, if you have American expectations about every encounter, you want it to be America when you're there, you're going to be disappointed. Because, and that's true with any nation that you visit. America exists inside of America. But when you go outside of this land, you begin to realize people don't live like Americans anywhere else. I mean,
and if you're needing an American fix, when we're in Jerusalem, I'll send you over to Harvey's barbecue place, and you can sit there eating some burnt brisket tips with baked beans while listening to Charlie Daniels.
And you'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
I tell you, Ben Yehuda Street is worth the trip.
Oh, yeah.
The vendors there, are enjoyable to talk to. And if you don't know any Hebrew, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't have to know Hebrew to get through the land. The places I go to, they speak English, and you can speak a little bit of your whatever Hebrew you'd like to try on them. They're fine with that. But Connect to Israel tour, I'm not just taking somebody over there to meet people. I'm taking them to meet my family.
I couldn't put it any better than that. And they treat Mike like family. They really do.
Yeah.
That's
Which means
not-
they treat you like family too, right?
yeah. Wow. It's
All right.
it's an experience and a lifetime change.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Barry. Appreciate it.
Folks, thank you for sharing. Thank you for at least going to the website. Say that website again, Mike. Connect to Israel.
Connect to Israel, connecttoisrael.org. And, I put a post on this from time to time, and I would appreciate if somebody, go to the website, copy the URL, post on your Facebook site, post on your Instagram. You never know who you might reach. You're thinking, well, I can't go or whatever. Well, maybe your effort would find a person that's sitting out there going, I really want to go to Israel, but I don't know who to go with. And so maybe it would be that effort from you that puts them on the right place.
I'll say that you may not be able, schedule wise, health wise, responsibility wise, to make this trip, but you may be willing and able to sponsor or at least partially sponsor someone else that wants to go and is scratching for funds to get there. So
If that, I'd be, all they have to do is call me, and I'd be glad to help out with that.
Mike can make that happen. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for joining us. And Mike, we hope to see you again next week, bro.
You got it.
See you.